Hello, everyone. It's Lindsay Kline, the host of the By the Books podcast and founder of Great Bookkeepers Wanted, empowering bookkeepers and the businesses that need them. I got a message today from a member of the Bookkeepers Club asking if I could help them with a problem they're facing with one of their bookkeeping clients who has a duplicate payment for an invoice. So, what better way to demonstrate than to make a content video? Because if this bookkeeper has this question, I'm sure there's others that do as well. What I have up right now is Intuit's sample company. Hopefully you know that if you have an accountant Intuit account, you have access to this. This can be a great playground to play around with transactions. It's got data already in there for Craig's landscaping company, and it's a great training resource if you have a team. So that's what I have open right now, and I went to the customer Cool Cars, and that's who we're going to use to demonstrate what's going on with this client. I pulled up a statement just so I can show the history of what's happened with this client. They were issued an invoice on March 9th. Then there was a credit card on file, and that was charged to zero out the balance. Well, the client either didn't remember or didn't know that the credit card was charged, and so they sent a check. And now there's a credit balance on that account. So the client issued a refund of that original credit card that was charged, which zeroed out the balance. So you might be asking, well, what's the problem then? Well, the problem is if you open an AR report, you're going to see these two transactions, the check payment, which was the second payment, and then the Visa refund, which was the refund of the original charge, are hanging out there. They're not linked to anything, and they're going to stay on an AR report until you do something with them, indefinitely. All right, one thing I did want to, as a side note, mention is if you have not yet issued a refund and you're not sure how to do that part of it, I would tell you either send a refund to the credit card through your credit card merchant company or issue a check, and then it's going to come through your bank feed as an expense. So let's say you're working on that transaction. This is how you would want to code it. That expense transaction that comes out of your bank to refund the customer, you want to categorize it as accounts receivable, and you want to make sure to put the correct customer name in the customer field so that it properly shows up on that customer's balance. Okay, so once you have that done, you'll have this expense show up, and it will show up in the customer's profile. You'll see this right here, this top line. That's the expense that came through the bank feed, showing up on the bank feed as an expense, and it was coded to accounts receivable. All right, well, you've got everything there now, right? You've got all of it back to zero, but you've got to figure out how to link it together. Now, this bookkeeper wants to link this Visa refund to the original Visa charge, and they want to link the check payment to the invoice. Well, we've got to take a little extra step here because right now the Visa is linked to the invoice and these two things aren't linked to anything. So let's pull up the original Visa charge, and that's what we're going to use to change how it's allocated. So here I have the original Visa charge that was made on March 21st, and we're going to unlink that from the invoice. I'm going to just select that checkbox right there, and now when I push save, it's going to ask, do you want to save this as credit? And then save it. So now you've got, now it's not letting me save it because it's telling me Craig is working in the same file. We have a little glitch in the matrix, everyone. I don't know why it's not letting me do that. So let's just leave without saving, and we're going to try that again. That Craig, man, he's a real rascal messing up everything. It's like when your client gets in the books and you're like, please don't. Please don't. All right. And maybe this is why, is because it hadn't refreshed. So now it's refreshed and you can see that refund is there. So this is actually really easy if the refund is already showing up there, and it may not be. If it's not, then you can just uncheck it from the invoice, and that's going to open up the invoice again. But in this case, we can go ahead and just apply it to where we want it, which is to the refund. So now you've got the original payment that the client made, and you're linking it with that expense that you created, refunding the Visa. So now you've got the credit card charge and the refund linked together as soon as I push save, which I am going to do now. Then we've got to go address the other payment that's still open and hanging out there, and that is that check payment. For some reason, my internet is going so slow today because it knew I wanted to do this. All right, so now we're looking for that check payment, and that's here. So we're going to go edit this check payment, and all we have to do is check that invoice. So now we're applying the check payment to the invoice. And once I save that, those will be linked together. And I'm going to go back to this AR report and I'm going to refresh. And then at some point, oh, it actually was pretty fast that time. I'm shocked. Usually this takes 10 minutes to pull up. All right, so here we are. You can see that selection does not have any info. That means there's nothing open for this client. And if you go back to the customer profile, you should see there is zero left. There's zero balance. And everything should have a green check mark next to it, showing that there's nothing open there. Everything has been applied correctly. So that is how you would handle addressing client duplicate payments. Hopefully this was helpful. Until next time, I am Lindsay Kline, the founder of Great Bookkeepers Wanted, empowering bookkeepers and the businesses that need them.